The Happening by Susan Ward. Read me some music, Grandma. But I don't know how to read music, dear. You read music. Can you tell me some music? That I can do. Let me think about how it should go. Yes, I have it now. Once upon a time, there was a piano who lived in the corner of his very own room on the third floor of a very big house. The house had 7 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a living room, a dining room, a family room, a European kitchen, a den for father, a studio for mother, a recreation room for the children, a mud room where the dog slept, a mother-in-law suite, a sauna that no one used, and all kinds of other rooms. I told you it was big. Because the house was so big, all who lived in it had their own places. The piano didn't have a lot of company, usually only the cleaning lady who came to the house once every 2nd week to clean. She didn't come to play, but to dust and polish the piano's top, sides, front, and keys. She didn't do backs. As you can imagine, the piano led a very quiet life. Needless to say, he had a great deal of time to think about the songs he would like to hear played on his 88 highly polished but silent keys. One afternoon, the piano had a bright idea. He decided to invite his 7 closest friends to a happening in his conservatory, a big word for music room. And who were his 7 closest friends? They were a creepy crawly critter, a dreadful dancing dinosaur, an elegant elk named Edith, a fireman named Fred, a grumpy grouchy groundhog, an anteater aviator, and a big bird who loved to bounce on beds. The invitations, complete with RSVP, regrets only, were collected by the sunshine and duly dispatched far and wide by sunbeams. Moonbeams were enlisted to beam the dinosaur's invitation through the night sky far back in time, so he too would be able to join in on the fun. Now, it is not always easy to organize a group of 7, especially the 7 special friends I'm telling you about. Let's find out how they managed. The creepy crawly critter was delighted to go. His only concern was transportation. How would he get there? Luckily, he discovered that the truck parked in the orchard where he lived was taking a load of apples to a market in the same city where the piano lived. All he had to do was worm his way into one of those delicious apples. The dinosaur wasn't sure how long he would have to be away from home, what with the time change involving millions of years. To be safe, he invited a friend to stay in his den to care for it during his absence. Good housing was increasingly hard to find in his neighborhood. While Edith was pleased to go, the invitation threw her into a complete state of apoplexy. What should she wear for the occasion? She certainly had a very elegant wardrobe befitting an elk of her social standing. It was a hard choice for her to make. Fireman Fred was ready to go, as firefighters always are. As soon as he received his invitation, he slid down the pole and made his way to the piano's house at top speed. The grouchy groundhog was having one of those growly days. He hadn't looked at his mail in weeks. When he finally decided to open his invitation, he was furious. The RSVP regrets only date had passed. Now he had to go. You see, even though he was a grumpy, he was reasonably well-mannered. The groundhog, though, decided not to have a good time. Anteater tucked her invitation into her pocket, and struck out for the nearest airfield. Decisions, decisions. Which plane should she take? She wondered if the piano had a suitable runway on which to land a jumbo jet. She wondered if she should stick with a lighter aircraft. Perhaps she should just wing it. And that is what she did. Becky the big bird jumped for joy at the thought of playing with her friends. What a reunion this would be! She preened her feathers and joined a flock of Canada geese flying in the same direction. And so it happened. Everyone arrived and took their proper places. The piano was overjoyed as song after song filled the conservatory and overflowed into the hallways and rooms of the great house. The family was carried up to the conservatory on a crescendo of harmony. All were delighted to be delivered to the source of the wonderful music. The piano played on until the family convinced the friends to stay, and they agreed. In fact, the happening was such a success that even the grumpy, grouchy groundhog had been caught with a smile, albeit a very tiny smile, on his furry face. The end.